Mainstream science will have you believe that the craters on the moon are due to impacts from meteors, comets, and asteroids. They will have you believe these thousands and thousands of circular craters which cover the moon's surface are all due to impacts. Now, anyone who wants to make sure that this information is correct can Google craters on the moon, and they will tell you straight away lunar craters are impact craters on the Earth's moon. The moon's surface has many craters, almost all of which were formed by impacts. So when I zoom in on the moon and I take a close look, I can see all these circular craters which they say are from impacts. My question is, if all these space rocks are flying in at different angles, not just 90-degree angles, where are the impact marks which create digs and canyons and trails? Shouldn't there be meteors and comets and asteroids coming in at various angles, all sorts of various angles, which should be hitting from the side and creating canyons, dig marks, scrapes, gouges? Are we to believe all of these meteor impacts are coming in at 90-degree angles? We should be seeing marks like this on the moon. Like I said, dig marks or scratches, scrapes if you will, caused by meteors coming in at an angle. I can find images produced by Hollywood which demonstrate this, where a meteor comes in at an angle and makes a big giant gouge, right? And digs deeper and deeper into the earth as it hits. Well, in this case, we should be seeing these marks on the moon, except we don't. And if you even type in meteor impact marks, all they show you is a bunch of images of meteor crater in Arizona and a bunch of circular impact marks. I can't even find the right verbiage. I put meteor impact trails, and then they show me trails left behind a meteor in the sky. So I can't find any actual images to display this in real life. All I could find were these Hollywood images of meteors coming in at an angle and making these gouges, scrapes, trails, whatever you want to call them. The only images I could find of this were CGI images created on a computer. Now, I found this highly puzzling that I couldn't find any real-life examples of this that weren't created on a computer. So then when I look at the moon and I'm asking myself, where are these impact trails, impact ditches, if you will? They simply don't exist. So we have to then at this point, being that science, mainstream science, is telling us that all these impact craters are coming from space rocks slamming into the moon, we have to then ask ourselves, is it theoretically even possible for the moon to be getting hit by space rocks, all of which are entering at a 90-degree angle, to make these circular craters? Because it seems to me, or any logical thinking person, that these meteors, comets, and asteroids are going to be coming in at all sorts of angles, various angles. If the moon is orbiting the Earth, and the Earth is orbiting the sun, and the sun is shooting through space, and all of these unfathomable speeds that they say we're going, that means the moon should be getting hit by space rocks from every angle imaginable, and for it to make only circular craters would be a physical impossibility. So at this point, I will now demonstrate through a actual physical experiment that you cannot physically have nothing but circular craters on the moon if they are all due to impacts. We should be seeing gouges, scrapes, ditches, canyons that are being dug out by sideways, angular, incoming impacts. All right, so today I am out in the country so I can perform an experiment and not disturb anybody at the same time. Today what I want to demonstrate is the different type of marks that a high velocity object making an impact will create. So for instance, if space rocks are said to be smacking into the moon and making those round craters, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take my air rifle and I'm going to shoot BBs into the earth, the ground right here, and I'm going to shoot the ground at various angles. I'm going to shoot the ground at 90-degree angles, and then I'm going to shoot the ground at all different varying angles so that we can compare and contrast the different impact marks that the BB makes into the ground. And that's going to be my experiment, is just get different types of impact marks from different angles so that I can demonstrate if objects were hitting the moon all day long from space, we should see varying different marks and not just circular impacts, which basically seems like that's all there is on the moon is circular impacts. And there should be different sorts of impacts, like ones that make trails and dig marks. So that's what I'm going to do today, is attempt to make trails and dig marks with my BB gun to demonstrate that if objects are hitting a spot at various different angles, we should see various different sorts of impacts. So I'm just going to use my regular old air rifle. Don't be alarmed. I know it looks like it has a clip, like it might be an AK. This actually holds CO2. It's not a clip. I don't have any CO2, so I'm going to do regular old school pump action. But yeah, you could put CO2 cartridges inside this guy right here, and then you don't even have to pump your BB gun. You can just load it up and fire over and over, which is cool. I used to do that when I was a teenager. I have not shot this gun in freaking years and years and years. Anyway, so yeah, I've got a spot that I actually flattened out, and I'm gonna shoot that spot and make some different sorts of impacts. So first thing I'm gonna do, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. First thing I'm going to do is make some 90-degree angle straight up and down impacts. I've done 2, I'm going to do a third one, and then we're going to look at these impacts that I'm making with straight up and down, trying not to get any angle on it at all, like a 90-degree angle impact. All right. Now let's see what we ended up with. So here's the area that I flattened out. And as you can see, I shot 3 times. One of them made this circular impact crater. And you can even see the BB then popped out. And then the other 2, as you can see, the BBs are still stuck in there, and there's round holes. They made round holes because I shot it straight in at a 90-degree angle. Now, I'm gonna shoot the rest of this area, and as you can see, there's no other marks. I tried to get it nice and flat and take away all the blemishes so we can see the next marks I'm going to make. I'm going to shoot now at different angles, and we're going to see the different types of impacts it makes. So on the first shot, it took a chunk out and made a round crater like you would see on the moon. And then you see these other two where the BB just went straight in. So you can see I was at a 90-degree angle, and it makes these holes. So now I'm going to shoot the ground at various different angles so we can see what type of marks that those leave. And I just got this new handy dandy tripod to shoot this video with. All right. Now I'm going to shoot the different angles. I can't tell you what angle because I'm just going to make them up. But if objects are hitting the moon for millions and billions of years, they should be hitting the moon at different angles, right? Not just 90-degree angles. So now I'm going to shoot different angles into this spot.
All right.
So, here's the spot where I shot multiple different times at different angles. See the difference that this leaves, these impacts that I made when I'm shooting at an angle, versus these ones where the BB is still stuck straight in the ground at a 90-degree angle. Those are circular holes. And then this one made a circular crater right here, like you might see. But at different angles, when I take different angles, you see this made like a dig mark, a little trail. This one took a big gouge out. That one is going inward at an angle. So this is my perfect illustration. If there's these dig marks that I can make with my BB gun at different angles, where are the dig marks on the moon? It should be covered in dig marks and trenches that are made from space rocks coming in at angles. But you don't see any of those. You see them all circular craters. You don't see dig marks on the moon. I mean, theoretically, there should be more dig marks than there are 90-degree angles. How in the hell are we getting perfect 90-degree impacts on the moon to make those nice round craters when we should be getting anything but a round crater? All right, I've got one more demonstration. I have an old apple that was getting kind of soft in my fridge, so I figured this was a good round object, well, roundish object to shoot. And I'm going to shoot it, same deal, I'm going to shoot it at a 90-degree angle with my BB gun, and then I'm going to take a couple different angles and shoot it so we can compare the impact marks on something round like this. First, I'm going to do a 90-degree angle shot on it. 3, 4, 5. It's like I don't want to do too many pumps and blow big chunks out of it, so I'll try 5 pumps. barely even tell. The hole went, it made such a tiny hole because of that 90-degree angle. Now I'm going to shoot it at an angle. Turn it to a different spot. So, straight hole, that's from my 90-degree shot, straight over the top. And then, this one right here, definitely not a regular round hole. Because it came in at an angle, kind of ripped into it, made more of a gouge. Right? And just like the exit, it's not just a regular round hole because it's at an angle. Let me shoot it at a couple more angles. You know, I was thinking if a rock was to hit just the very edge of the moon, not only would it make a dig mark, it could theoretically just take a nice chunk out of it, right? If it was to hit right on the edge of the moon at the right angle, right? If you were to just get that right angle on the moon. Oh, perfect. Exactly what I was looking for. Right? Look at that. See what I did there with a BB? High velocity impact, made a nice gouge. Could you imagine that being like a canyon? If this is the moon and something came in at that angle, high velocity, this should leave a canyon. Huge dig mark, right? Look at that. That's what I'm trying to get to you people. They want you to believe everything on the moon came from a round, straight through, where's my hole? Oh yeah. Round, regular, straight impact. That's how all those craters on the moon were made, by a 90-degree impact. Where are these ones? There should be more of these. Come on, 90-degree, straight up and down collisions, more common than angled collisions, which should cause digs, trails, trench marks, canyons. I believe I've sufficiently debunked the notion that space rocks are making all those craters on the moon. I believe anyone can demonstrate through the scientific method, which I've just performed, observable, provable, repeatable proof that high velocity impacts at different angles do not make circular craters. And all we see on the moon is virtually nothing but circular craters. Where are the dig marks, the trenches, and the canyons? There aren't any. There should be tons of them, but there aren't. So therefore, I must reject mainstream science. I must reject their answer that those craters come from impacts from asteroids and comets and meteors. I must reject what they say, and we must open up scientific investigation to figure out what's really going on with the moon. How in the heck did those impact craters arrive on the moon? Real scientific investigation. I'm talking about real experiments so us people can actually find out what's going on, because they obviously lied to us. It's impossible for those impacts to be all made from 90-degree angles. And I believe I've proved that beyond a shadow of a doubt. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. And anyone with an air rifle can go out and recreate this experiment and get the exact same result. Craters on the moon came from something else, people. Wouldn't you like to find out what it is? I sure as hell would. So it's time to Share this video, make this video go viral, share it with everybody you know. Moon craters are not from space rock impacts like they told us. Science has been lying to us, so what else have they been lying to us about? Let's open up scientific investigation on this right away. This video needs to go viral, and every scientist worth their salt needs to be looking into this, trying to figure out a real answer. Because space rocks hitting the moon for millions and billions of years causing only circular craters is obviously false, and I just proved it false beyond a shadow of a doubt. And furthermore, if we are to look at examples of craters here on Earth, such as Meteor Crater in Arizona, we will see it's a round crater. The only way that crater could be formed just like that would be from a 90-degree angle, a straight up and down impact. Now ask yourself, out of all the meteors you've ever seen in your life go across the sky, were any of them traveling at a 90-degree angle, straight up and down? Think long and hard. Have you ever seen a meteor come out of the sky at a straight up and down angle? Because the only way to make that round crater in Arizona would be from a 90-degree impact, straight up and down out of the sky. Now, beings there's this only one example, very few examples actually, of meteor impacts, they might go ahead and lie to us and say that that impact came from a 90-degree angle straight impact. But you damn sure can't lie and say that all the thousands of craters on the moon's surface came from 90-degree impacts. So at this point, I'm going to ask all my fans, all my friends, all my subscribers, anyone following me, anyone who believes in what I'm doing, anyone who believes in what I've done in this video, please share this video. Share it as many times as you can. Share it with as many people as you can, and tell them to do the same thing. A video like this needs to go viral and expose that we are being lied to on a massive level. Not just about the moon, but about a lot of things. So what we need to do is start with something small, like craters on the moon. Show that it is completely 100% debunkable and that anybody can prove this. And once that gets rolling, that craters on the moon are absolutely false, not made by impacts, as they say, then we can hold mainstream science accountable and actually find out what in the hell is going on with our moon. I don't know about you, but I want the truth. I don't like being lied to. That's all I want is the truth. Please join me in my quest to obtain the truth. Please share this video. Please help it go viral. Humanity actually depends on it.